Most people are not equipped to understand the seemingly endless facets of an HOA. That's why we're here, to help you become uncommonly prepared to serve your HOA. Whether you're a board member or a manager, join us in the Uncommon area.
Welcome to the Uncommon Area. I'm Matthew Holbrook, and this episode is going to be looking at what a manager's experience is like in first coming to Action Property Management. And here to talk about that here today is Anthony Edwards. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And maybe it'd be helpful. You've been here at Action now for a little while, but before you came to Action, what were you doing?
We're doing construction and concrete management.
Okay,
for property management.
So not exactly HOA management, but kind of a related field.
Related in the way that they do align in many ways, but not related on the other aspects of it.
Yeah, of the kind of the HOA specific components.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, just in getting into this business on the HOA management side, what are the types of things that kind of align with what you previously did that translates into this business?
In terms of aligning, I would say time management and, the aspects of keeping up with vendors and maintenance obligations, those things all align.
So what would be the different kinds of challenges that maybe your previous experience didn't prepare you for?
I would say that the different is more so on the personalities and the differences in personalities and the homeowners and their communication aspect, as opposed to communicating with contractors and commercial vendors on a daily basis. They communicate much differently than homeowners do.
Right. It's different when you're talking, like more on a B2B level, as opposed to in this business, it's very much we're talking to people where they're the consumer.
Yes.
And it changes the dynamic of that relationship and interaction.
It does, and it also changes the anticipated time frame of that communication. Sure. I think with people, which rightfully so. I mean, you are a member of that association. You're anticipating someone that works for the management company to respond a little bit quicker than you would maybe to a contractor.
Sure.
And so just getting used to those time frame differences. And
we're interacting with people in their homes, and when something happens at home, it has a different level of urgency to it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we understand that. I know you understand that well, and you've made a really positive impression with the residents and the board members that you've worked with. So when you first came to Action as a company, what were kind of your first impressions of Action Property Management?
Well, when I first came to Action, I actually didn't know that HOA management was even an industry. I really didn't know it was. I didn't know it existed. I knew that what an HOA was, but I thought it was more on the voluntary management end because I do live in an HOA, but I never really had any interest in their operation.
Yeah.
So it was a shock to me of really a few different things of the regulatory side and the importance of the regulatory side, but the amount of regulatory laws that are associated with specifically homeowner associations. And just, the change in, fields.
Yeah. I can relate to that. When I've been in this business now for over 26 years, but my first year at Action, I don't think I really even understood what an HOA was for a whole year. So, I understand that. It's kind of it's a new world that you're walking into.
It really is.
Yeah. So you get started at Action, and you are kind of getting immersed into this new industry and this new field. What were impressions just specifically about the company and how maybe we operate? Very
well-oiled.
I'm not fishing for this, by the way. I'm actually
no. I mean, and genuinely, it's a very well-structured company, and I was very impressed to see that people really do enjoy coming here and working here. And in terms of talking to the people that do work at least the IE office, as well as the San Diego office. I haven't really had the pleasure of talking to some of the managers here in Irvine, but in talking to many of the managers, they really do have a good work-life balance. They enjoy that, and they're able to, enjoy the stress and the chaotic side of management, but also the downtime side.
Yeah. And that is kind of the appeal of the business to a certain extent is I know managers really appreciate that no day is ever the same as any other day. It's always very different. And so, yeah, there is kind of walking that line of that, how you put it, chaos and stress that is fueling and energizing versus what's too much.
Exactly. And I think that, you really, if you thrive off of that enjoyment of, not doing the same thing every day, I don't like, repetition in what I do. And this is perfect for that.
Yeah. So, do you feel with respect to the team that you have in the Inland Empire, do you feel that you get adequate support as a manager? Maybe talk a little bit about just the team dynamic and the support that you receive.
Yeah, no, it's a very well-structured team there. We all work together very well. Right now, it is still fairly remote. There's two of us that do come in the office every day, which is Scott and myself. Minus Fridays. I don't come in Fridays. But we do work pretty well together in terms of emails and communicating via phone and just, the support team. If anyone does have any questions or, if they need any support on any, documents, we're there for them.
Yeah. It's a big change within this COVID era. So you have, we have 10 or so managers in that office, and you're saying that only 2 of you are in most days.
Correct. There's a few days that I believe 3 of them come in at once, and then just sporadically they do have separate days, but it is more or less about 2 days a week.
Yeah, but having that work at home option really changes the dynamic of the whole job, and probably is a helpful aspect, I would imagine, for most people.
Yeah, and I think it makes it a lot more convenient, but as well as making it more accessible to actually doing something that, for instance, if let's say you are wanting to do a report at 7:00 at night, you can do that without having to be, in the office at 7:00 at night, and you can do it while, taking care of other things in the home.
Yeah. So for you individually, you have a preference to be in the office most days?
I do.
Yeah. So it's nice that you kind of have that option as managers to how you want to structure that. What do you think has been the key to making your experience go well, coming here to Action and getting involved in this industry?
Honestly, it does go back to the support. I have to thank Scott for, really kind of being patient with me in terms of, transitioning into this industry. Coming in with a completely different mindset of how things on management side for properties I'm used to. And so, him just really kind of guiding me into that process of how, this is how we do these things. And it's been very helpful. And thankfully at least for Action, there's, a huge amount of support in terms of documents and, just the files themselves. If you're really looking for something, if you have a question on something, you can usually find it, but everyone's also willing to help.
Yeah, that's great. Talk to me a little bit about just the software that you've been exposed to and that you work with here at Action. I know you can't really compare to other management companies, but what has been your just interaction with and involvement with the software?
Yeah, I would say that, currently my favorite is the management app.
Sure.
I do love the management app. Snap, I'm still learning, but I do enjoy that as well. It's very intuitive and it's been very helpful. In transitioning from that, I was originally starting when Snap wasn't, in. So I was transitioning into having a mindset of, okay, this is how we do the violations. This is how we do certain things. And then it was like right around 3 months in that Snap was coming in and we were transitioning into that. And I was a bit stressed of how that might, really take effect and how I would have to transition, my mindset already. But it worked really well and I didn't really have to put too much thought into that.
Yeah. And both the management app and Snap HOA, for anybody who's watching, these are both internally developed software platforms that we use at Action. And actually, kind of there's sometimes confusion between what's the management app and what is Snap HOA, and both of them are kind of merging together and ultimately are one application that our managers can use and makes things a lot easier and a lot more seamless in how we manage.
And also the fact that it's internally designed, that really does help because I've had comments and I've had, at least questions on the design aspect as well as maybe some bugs. and it really helps where you know who to reach out to, and they know how to fix it.
Right.
And that's been a huge help.
Yeah. Well, anything else that you'd comment on just about your initial experience and how things have been here at Action?
Yeah, I would say that, it's a great team environment. We work very well together, and I think with as the times are changing, going into more remote, it's great to at least have that option of being able to be flexible and work with a good balance and work-home balance. It's been a great time.
Right. Well, really appreciate what you do here at Action. I know you get rave reviews from a lot of different directions, and glad that you're a part of our team. And for anyone watching, I hope that is helpful in providing a perspective on what it's like to come to Action Property Management as an association manager. Well, thank you for watching, and hope you continue to look for additional episodes.